Sunday night baseball from Hyannis as the Hyannis Harbor Hawks get ready to take on the Falmouth Commodores for the second time in 3 days. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill with you on Judy, Walden, Scarifile Field at McKeon Park as we are just an hour away from first pitch. Lincoln, the Harbor Hawks coming off a 4-0 loss last night at Chatham. What do the Harbor Hawks have to do to rebound from last night's tough loss?
Yeah, our problem last night was just we couldn't hit the ball. We got to get more hits tonight. We only had one hit last night against Chatham. And also, on the other hand, we got to start finding the strike zone. Last night, our pitchers, towards the end of the game, had a little bit of trouble finding that zone, walked quite a few batters late in the game. So we just got to work and improve all around, get some hits, and find the strike zone.
Seth Halverson will get his second start of the season tonight. He was in the opening game against Bourne back on Father's Day, June 20th. He made the start and went 3 innings and was pretty impressive in that game. Lincoln, we're looking for Seth to build off of that first performance.
Yeah, definitely. He went 3 innings in his last outing, threw a couple strikeouts as well. He just had an all-around great outing against the Braves last week, and really, yeah, like you said, we're just looking for another great outing from him tonight.
Yeah, and one of the catchers on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, Adam Hackenberg, had a solid game last night. Our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, caught up with Adam before today's game.
Taylor Farmer here with Adam Hackenberg. It seems the team is rotating 3 catchers right now. What do you do recovery-wise on days that you're not in the lineup?
Yeah, days I'm not in the lineup, I just try to, stay to my same routine that I would as, if I was starting that day. And then, go catch pens or go pick the guy up behind the plate, whatever's needed of me.
Now playing college ball at Clemson and then coming up here for summer ball in the Cape, what's the biggest difference that you've noticed?
Yeah, luckily I've been able to get up here twice now, but up here is the best guys in the country from all the different conferences, and you even got guys from smaller schools that are able to come up here and show what they can do as well. But it's baseball, so not much difference besides the level of competition day in, day out is going to be top notch.
Now coming from an athletic family, one of your brothers drafted to the NFL, the other drafted to play professional soccer. In hopes of making this a professional career for yourself, what made you choose baseball?
I always wanted to play football growing up, but I think I was a little better at baseball, and then obviously I fell in love with it as I started to play it more. My family was a football family growing up. Obviously my other brother started playing soccer. He sort of did the same thing. He ended up falling in love with soccer, and that's what he did. And same thing sort of happened to me. Baseball is I think it's the best sport. It's the most challenging, both physically and mentally. So, I decided to play baseball.
Gotcha. Well, thank you. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Here at McKeon Park, alongside Adam Hackenberg, Taylor Farmer, Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
Thanks, Taylor. And Adam Hackenberg caught 2 runners stealing last night, as mentioned. Another catcher in the lineup tonight, Caleb Pendleton, who has been very solid defensively for the Harbor Hawks this season. Lincoln, how important is defense to this Hyannis team?
Yeah, defense is crucial to this Hyannis team. Really, last night we played pretty solid defense all around. Didn't record any errors in last night's game. The only problem is we couldn't find hits to match with that lack of errors. So tonight, defense is crucial. We got to keep getting those no-error games, and just this time, just adding offense to that.
Harbor Hawks looking to snap a losing skid here at McKeon Park. First pitch at 6 p.m. versus the Falmouth Commodores. A beautiful evening for baseball. Sunday night from Hyannis, Massachusetts, as the Harbor Hawks take the field here on Judy Walden Scarifile Field at McKeon Park. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill with you as the Harbor Hawks look to snap a 3-game losing streak. They'll be going against the Falmouth Commodores for the second time in 3 days, as we recognize those black and maroon jerseys from Friday night's action. And with the Commodores took a victory over the Harbor Hawks by a score of 4-3. Lincoln, the Harbor Hawks looking for some redemption tonight.
Yeah, definitely, especially after, once again, after you mentioned they took a 4-3 loss to the Commodores. They almost had a comeback in that 9th inning. They scored an extra run to bring that 2-run lead in half to 1, but they just couldn't complete it. And then especially after last night where we just couldn't come up with any hits, we're just looking for redemption on both of those sides tonight as well.
Starting lineups tonight, we'll start off with the Falmouth Commodore side of things. Lincoln, who is in the lineup for the Commodores?
Yeah, leading off for the Commodores, we have Maui Ahuna starting us off, followed by Michael Curiali in center field. Braden Taylor batting third, followed by Jake DeCouta, the first baseman. Jace Borfin, the right fielder, in the 5-hole, followed by Jonathan French, the catcher. Alex Sayer, the designated hitter, will be followed by Bryson Ware, the left fielder, and Cody Colden will be bringing up the rear in the 9-hole, playing second base tonight. And on the mound for the Commodores is going to be Adam Stone.
All right, Lincoln, let's take a look at the Harbor Hawk lineup tonight. Leading off is Caden Rose, the center fielder. Batting 2 is Kyle Ball, the shortstop. And the 3-hole is Jake Cunningham, the right fielder. Batting cleanup is Luke Mann, the third baseman. And in the 5-hole is Mitchell Hardigan, the left fielder. Batting 6, Marcos Pujols, the first baseman. In the 7th spot, Dominic Johnson, the designated hitter, looking for his bat to pick back up tonight. Johnson had a 2-run home run earlier in the season against Katuitt, a guy who can get very hot and stay hot as he begins his summer with Hyannis. Off to a solid start with that home run as previously mentioned. Caleb Pendleton, the catcher in the 8-hole, and Mariano Ricciardi batting 9th and playing second base. On the hill for the Harbor Hawks, wearing the pinstripes tonight with the blue socks pulled up. That is Seth Halverson, a right-handed pitcher, making his second start of the season. He got the ball in Bourne on opening night, and through 3 scoreless innings, he'll look to replicate that performance here tonight. Leading off tonight for the Commodores, as Lincoln mentioned, is Maui Ahuna. He'll find himself at shortstop, batting from the left side. Ahuna did not start Friday's game here in Hyannis, but came in about halfway through and took over at second base as he swings at the first pitch and deposits it into left center field for a leadoff single.
Yeah, and starting us straight off strong, Ahuna is, with that opposite field single, and just a great hit there as he lofted it right over the head of Ball for a base hit.
And with the leadoff man aboard, that brings up Michael Curiali, the center fielder. Curiali, another guy moved around in Friday's contest. He started at second base, moved over to center field for the back half of that ball game. He's back there tonight. Ahuna gets a solid lead at first. Pujols holds him on. The first pitch to Curiali. Misses up in the zone for a ball at 78 miles per hour.
Curiali started at second for the Commodores on Friday night. He ended his night at 0 for 4 with a ground out, 2 strikeouts, and he reached base on a fielder's choice.
As mentioned, he moved to center field for the back half of the ball game. Gets to start there tonight in the 2-hole. From Capistrano Valley, California, playing his summer ball here with us in the Cape Cod Baseball League across the country. As he swings and misses at a fastball on the inside part of the plate, count moves to 2-1. Halverson looking to bounce back strong after the leadoff single. Has to work from the stretch a bit earlier than he would have liked.
Curiali standing at 7 for 20 on the season with a .350 batting average. However, he's looking for that first hit against the Harbor Hawks, as we mentioned just a couple moments ago.
Swings at a off-speed pitch at 85 miles per hour, fouls it back off the netting. The count moves to 2-2. Seth Halverson, the right-handed pitcher wearing number 23 for Hyannis, transferred from Missouri to Tennessee. Just a couple of weeks back, he spent 3 seasons at Missouri. As Curiali looking to spoil the 2-2. The long pause here from Halverson and the pitch. That comes in and hits Curiali on the left elbow. so he will reach base safely. It's a hit by pitch, and with nobody out, the Commodores are threatening early.
And this is not the start that the Harbor Hawks wanted, especially after that game last night where the pitching staff honestly struggled in last night's game against the Chatham Anglers, and right now they're struggling to find that first out here very early in the game.
And Lincoln, it wasn't necessarily the hits, as the Anglers only had about 3 hits last night. It was the walks that really came back to haunt last night's pitchers.
Yeah, they did. The pitchers, especially late in the game, were really struggling to find that zone as they walked, I believe it was 5 straight batters.
Yeah, it was 4 walks, then a hit by pitch, which brought home 2 runs. But luckily, we had Scalero come in out of the pen and get a 4-6-3 double play, which put an end to the inning. But that's what allowed 2 more runs to come across. And really, when you're down 4-0, I'm sure you're much less thinking about a comeback than if you're down 2-0. So
yeah, definitely, yeah. Especially last night with that 4-0 score, I'm sure they were probably just thinking about getting that ball across the plate more than really making a comeback.
With Braden Taylor up and ahead, 2-0 in the count on Halverson. Looking to get a fastball and drive something here. Taylor bats from the left side, getting the start at third base today. Started at shortstop on Friday. As he takes a ball, and that's going to prompt a mound visit from Caleb Pendleton, the catcher. Early trouble for Hyannis. Pendleton just going to reassure the pitcher, Halverson. 3-0 Lincoln early in the ball game, nobody out. Do we think Taylor has the green light just yet?
I'd say no, not this early in the game, especially after hitting Curiali, and then he's thrown 3 straight balls since then. I feel like he has a hard red light right now.
Halverson pauses from the stretch, the 3-0. Misses for ball 4, so the bases will now be loaded with nobody out in the inning. And danger lurks as Jake DeCouta gets ready to dig in.
And Halverson, who against Bourne, like we mentioned, had his debut against the Braves on opening night, only gave up 1 hit in that first inning as he only allowed 1 base runner and then gave up 3 straight outs other than that. And as of now, we're having the complete opposite effect from that opening outing.
DeCouta digs in, playing first base tonight from Lake Oswego, Oregon. First pitch to DeCouta. He swings and hits it to left field. Hardigan coming in. It's going to drop and get by Hardigan. Ahuna's going to score. Here comes Curiali. They're going to wave Taylor all the way from first, and it's a bases-clearing double to start the ball game for the Commodores. And 4 batters in, Falmouth has a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, that was just a really bad read there from Hardigan. He tried to grab that ball off the short hop and then ended up just going right around him as he tried to hop for it but couldn't get in front of it. And that proves costly as now the Harbor Hawks are down early 3 runs.
Nobody out, man in scoring position on second. That's DeCouta after the bases clearing double. That brings up Jace Borfin, the right fielder. First pitch outside for a ball on the slider, 1-0.
Borfin at 6'2", 204 pounds from the University of Oklahoma, ended his night 0 for 3 against the Harbor Hawks back on Friday night.
And Halverson fires a strike in at the knees, 94 miles per hour on the fastball. We've seen great velocity from the starting rotation so far, Lincoln.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have the whole starting rotation from the low to mid 90s, and Baker actually, as we saw, with got up to 98 a few times during his outing.
Ground ball to second. Ricciardi moves to his left, fields it, and throws to Pujols at first for out number 1. So an important out number 1 at that, as Halverson retires the first batter of the ball game. Or first out of the ball game is now the 5th batter of the ball game.
Yeah, not the little bit later than we would have wanted that first out at, but at least now we have it. We can start focusing on getting more outs and keeping that runner from coming in at third and extending that lead for the Commodores.
In steps the catcher, Jonathan French, and if you remember on Friday, French had a big night against Hyannis, a solo home run and a double. As he swings at the first pitch and hits it well to right field. Cunningham is back at the warning track, looking up, and it's gone. Jonathan French with a 2-run home run, and that catapults the Commodores to a 5-0 lead with still 1 away in the first inning.
And the momentum is completely in favor of the Commodores now, as they have gotten 5 runners on and 5 runners across home plate now. And still very early in this game with only 1 out in the first.
Well, we mentioned how you're going to get used to seeing some faces the second time around against the Commodores. We played them again this week in Falmouth on Wednesday, and I think fans are used to Jonathan French now. His second homer against the Harbor Hawks this season in 2 games played now.
Yeah, he went 2 for 4 against us back on Friday night with a home run and a double, and he's already started off very quickly here tonight with a home run.
With 1 away in the inning, in steps Alex Sayer, the designated hitter from Wright State, an outfielder as well. He swings and grounds it to Ricciardi at second. The throw on to first. Pujols is in time, and there's 2 away.
Yeah, and they've gotten those two routine outs there to Ricciardi, but we just, like I said earlier, we just wish they could have come a bit earlier in the game.
And Halverson's been in the strike zone, but the Commodores are on his fastball tonight.
Yeah, they've been timing it perfectly all game long. They had it timed perfectly on Friday night as well. And they've just been doing a great job of finding gaps and putting the ball in the right places.
Strike 1 to Bryson Ware, the left fielder, batting for the first time in the ballgame. He takes, called strike 2, the nice off-speed pitch that comes back on the front hip for a strike. Now Halverson is 1 strike away from getting out of this difficult first inning. 5 runs home, 3 hits for the Commodores. The 0-2 popped up straight back behind home plate. Gets out of play. Count holds at 0-2. Pretty decent crowd in Hyannis as Halverson fires on 0-2. That one misses outside for a ball, 1-2 the count.
Beautiful pitch, just missing the zone by an inch or 2. That was a great spot there.
The 1-2 from Halverson. Cut on and missed. The inning is over. 5 runs home for the Commodores. Hyannis looking to respond. Back in a moment on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Back here at McKeon Park, Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill getting ready for the bottom of the first inning. And fans, for those of you who are following Harbor Hawks baseball this year, for your weekly review of everything Harbor Hawk, subscribe to the Birds the Word podcast. Hosts Harrison Meyers, Austin DeCouta, and Lincoln Revill break down all the action from the past week, interview players, coaches, and the people behind the scenes to bring you everything you need to know to be in the know. New episodes drop every Friday, so make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting app today.
You know, Austin, that was a brand new read, and you read it beautifully, just perfect.
Thank
Perfect.
you.
Poetry in motion.
I like that, poetry in motion. Not the same when I'm on the basketball court. They don't exactly call it poetry in motion, but I'll take it for the reads. Leadoff man for the Harbor Hawks, Caden Rose digs in. He flies it to right field. Back on it is Borfrin. He makes the catch for out number 1. An F9 to start the inning.
And I said it a couple times last half inning. I'll say it again. That is the Commodores got the kind of start that the Harbor Hawks wanted in that top of the first.
Absolutely.
And it went just right to the right fielder in Borfin.
You're coming off a 4-0 loss on the road where you got 1 hit, and that would have been the ideal start to Hyannis' day. 5 runs, break the slump the offense is in, but unfortunately, the Commodores are really timing up the fastball this afternoon. Adam Stone on the hill tonight for the Commodores, a 6'6" right-hander from Stamford, Connecticut.
Stone has 1 outing on the season so far for the Commodores. He ended up lasting 3 innings, gave up 6 hits, 5 runs on those 6 hits, struck out 4 and walked 3.
He's behind 2-0 to Kyle Ball, the Stetson shortstop, as he fires in a strike at the belt. 2-1 the count. Ball did not get the start in last night's ball game at Chatham, but it came in the 5th inning as a replacement for Ryan Romano. The 2-1 from Stone, and behind the fastball is Ball. Count goes to 2-2. Home plate umpire tonight is Tyler Bullock. Over at first is Patrick Burns, and at third is James Fonseca. The 2-2 from Stone. Lined foul softly down the right field line, out of play. That'll be a souvenir.
Ball ended 0 for 3 on Friday in that last game against the Commodores, looking for his first hit against Falmouth.
The Harbor Hawk offense, Lincoln, as you mentioned, they're after a little bit of a slow start, and Ball would like to break out of his slump that he's in as well.
Yeah, Ball definitely needs some hits. His average only it's at .071.
And 1 for 14 on the year. He does have 2 RBI, 5 walks, and he draws his 6th on the season. So Ball, a very patient hitter. His on-base percentage, Lincoln, coming into the game was pretty high. I mean, he's drawn 5 walks, batting 350 on-base percentage coming in to be exact. Raised it with that walk again. So he's getting on base at a nice clip, which is why he's staying in that 2-hole. As his bat will pick up in time, I'm sure.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of discipline from the Harbor Hawks roster this season. A lot of very patient hitters that can fight from way behind in the count and really draw walks, or at least battle, make it full, and just really last a long time at the plate.
And here comes the hottest hitter on the team, in my opinion, Jake Cunningham. He has 4 hits spread out the last 3 games, including a double last night, which was the only hit for Hyannis. It came in the 1st inning. Cunningham swings and misses at an off-speed pitch in the dirt to even the count at 1-1. 6'4" right fielder from Charlotte. I was talking to the outfielders before the game, talking about their preparation, how it's a little bit of a grind here with so many games in a row. Runner goes to second. The throw is in time. They catch Kyle Ball trying to swipe second. And the throw was there, but the coverage was a little late. But wow, what a tag put on over at second by Colden.
Yeah, Colden really did a great job there. He caught the ball, and like you said, the coverage was a little bit late, but he ended up getting the glove down and right in front of the bag, really, just waiting for the hand of Ball.
That erases the walk by Ball, as he is no longer on the base pass. The 1-2 to Cunningham, called strike 3. The side is retired. Falmouth coming up to bat in the top of the 2nd, looking to add on to their early 5-0 lead. Top of the second inning. About ready to get underway. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill here with you as Cody Colden digs in for the first time. Did not see him in the lineup on Friday when the Commodores visited McKeon Park. And look, that wind is blowing the flag out pretty rapidly out in right center field. That's where French's homer went earlier in the ball game, and the first pitch of the inning hits Holden. So the leadoff man is on for the Commodores in back-to-back innings.
And the pitching struggles for the Harborhawks just continue as that very first pitch ended up grazing Colden, and he's on very early in this inning.
Back to the top of the order as Maui Ahuna digs in for the second time. He swung at the first pitch of the ball game and singled to left center field. He'll take on the outside part of the plate for a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, one thing we've seen right out of the gate from this Commodores team is a lot of aggressive hitting from really the entire lineup. And only one hitter so far, two hitters actually from last inning did not put it in play. One of them reached base after being hit by a pitch. One other got walked, and then, of course, we had that strikeout from Ware. So really 3 batters did not put it in play. But the rest of them finding ways to put the ball in play and make this Harborhawk team work.
That's what you have to do. You can't go down on strikes. As Colden goes, the throw from his knees by Pendleton is not in time. Just a great jump over at first by Colden, and a tough play to make by Pendleton on an outside pitch.
Yeah, Colden showing off his wheels early, and then, like you said, that outside pitch just really tough for Pendleton to make in time as he had to grab that ball on the outside, bring it back to his throwing hand, and then chunk it. Just a little bit of extra time that he didn't need for that throw.
Ahuna hits this one to left center field. That's going to be in the gap for a base hit. Hardigan fields it. The runner is going to come home from second. The throw into the pitcher's mound is picked up by Halverson, and it's an RBI single from Maui Ahuna, which tacks on another to make it a 6-0 lead.
And Ahuna showing early that he's an oppo field hitter as he's already taken 2 singles. Both of them have gone to that left center gap, and just a great bit of hitting there from Ahuna so far this season. This game, that is.
One ball to Curiali. Ahuna leaning towards second. He's going to go on the pitch. Pitch inside, the throw by Pendleton is not in time. Lincoln, he was going no matter what on that pitch.
Yeah, no, he gave it away very early as he was already leaning towards the bag before Halverson even came home. You could tell he was going, and he still beat the throw, which shows just how impressive his speed is.
So another runner in scoring position. The count 2-0 to Curiali. The pitch, called strike on the outside corner, 2-1 the count. Halverson looking to work his way out of trouble here in inning number 2. The top of the order leadoff man Ahuna on second base after an RBI single. Brought in the 9-hole hitter Colden, who reached on a hit by pitch. A pair of stolen bases against Hyannis in the inning as Curiali swings and fouls it back to even the count.
Curiali still looking for that first hit. He did reach, as you mentioned, after being hit by that pitch, but he's 0 for 4 still against the Harborhawks in total this season.
Takes a look at second. Ahuna getting another big lead. Halverson goes home. The 2-2 is a hesitant swing, but he goes through, and it's a strikeout for Halverson as Curiali is retired for out number 1.
Yeah, great breaking ball there from Halverson, but really what I'm worried about is Ahuna over at second. I think he's just trying to toy with Halverson, really, and I'm wondering how long it'll take before the Harborhawks try to get a pickoff move in.
Alec, can you make a good point? Ahuna is getting another big lead at second. He already stole a base and could be on his way to third on the right pitch. Braden Taylor digging in now.
And like you said, Ahuna waiting for that right pitch. And as we saw last night, the pitching staff for the Harbor Hawks last night spiked quite a few pitches in the dirt in last night's game. And if one ends up being spiked at the right angle and getting away from Pendleton, that'll give Ahuna plenty of time to get over to third, showing his speed off once again.
And Adam Hackenberg had a great game behind the dish for Hyannis last night. He caught 2 runners stealing. Was very solid behind the plate. The 1-1 is by Pendleton, Lincoln. There it is, another spiked pitch by the Harbor Hawks, and that's going to allow Ahuna to move to third, so 90 feet away from making this a 7-0 ball game early on.
And that's something you just can't have. That ball just sneaking underneath the glove of Pendleton. The
2-1 to Taylor, misses inside for a ball. 3-1. Taylor already walked once in the ball game. That was back last inning, the top of the first, and he draws his second walk. So that puts runners on the corners here with 1 away. As there's action now in the Harbor Hawk bullpen, a left-hander throwing.
And this is just a complete 180 from Halverson's debut, where he went 3 innings, didn't allow a run in that little pitching duel that we had against the Bourne Braves. This game, a complete turnaround, as he's already allowed 6 runs through only 1.1 innings.
It's Austin Wallace warming up in the bullpen, the left-hander. As Jake DeCouta digs in. Ahuna on third, Taylor on first, DeCouta at the dish. Long pause from Halverson, a big lead at first. Runner goes. That's lined back off the netting, and the Harbor Hawks are lucky that DeCouta swung at that one, because if he did not, there would be a runner on second and third.
And as long as Taylor can be kept over at first, that gives the Harbor Hawks a little bit of a chance for an inning-ending double play, which would be very important for this team this early in the game.
Or yet to see Halverson throw over to a base, something some pitchers do struggle with. He works quickly here and fires in a strike. The count moves to 1-2. I think he might step off, coming up here, Lincoln, with the big lead at first, or, as we saw on that pitch, he differed up how quick he goes to the plate, his delivery time. Taylor might be going on the pitch, and he holds up. Pendleton grabs the off-speed pitch that missed in the right-handed batter's box to even the count at 2-2.
And I think Pendleton might have thought that Taylor was about to go to second as well, as I'm pretty sure he just told Halverson to throw a pitch out on that 1-2 pitch.
The 2-2 comes inside and misses for a ball. Count is full. 3-2 with 1 away in the inning. Borfin on deck. DeCouta, of course, had the bases-clearing double last inning. And a runner 90 feet away for DeCouta. Could add to that RBI total. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. A fastball by DeCouta at 94 miles per hour. And a big outnumbered 2 for Seth Halverson.
Yeah, good comeback there, allowing a run with the first hitter. And then since then he's fanned 2 while allowing 2 more on base. So he's working through the inning, which is good, looking for that final out here.
2 away in the inning. Jace Borfin digs in. Grounded out to second last inning. That was the first out of the game recorded by Halverson. The defense tonight for Hyannis, as mentioned, Caleb Pendleton behind the plate. Marcos Pujols at first, Ricciardi at second. A ball at short and Luke Mann at third. Outfield left to right, Mitchell Hardigan, Caden Rose, and Jake Cunningham in right field. The count 2-0 to Borfin. The 2-0. Popped up. Pendleton going to go give it a look near the Harbor Hawks dugout. Curving towards the netting. Ooh, and it comes down. Might have hit the back of Gary Calhoun, the Harbor Hawks manager. Everyone seems okay in the dugout, however.
Yeah, if it didn't hit Calhoun, then it definitely came close, as that was a scary foul ball there.
It was deep into foul territory at one point, but curved back just enough to come into the Hyannis dugout. The count 2-1, a big lead at first. Runner goes, and that's fouled straight back off the netting. So Taylor will have to return to first once again.
Taylor getting a good workout there, as both times he's tried to steal so far have been fouled off.
If nothing else, he's getting the blood pumping, the oxygen flowing. The 2-2 awaits. Halverson gets the signs from Pendleton. Another big lead at first from Taylor. The pitch. Off speed, but it just comes across high and outside. So that brings the count to 3-2, full with 2 away. So Taylor at first will be off on the pitch. And of course, Lincoln, with Taylor off on the pitch here, a ball in the gap could score 2.
Yeah, it could. And we've already seen with a ball that sort of went in the gap. It got past Hardigan. A runner scored from first earlier on without even getting that early lead.
And it's ball 4 to Borfin. So that loads the bases for the man that the Harbor Hawks do not want to see in Jonathan French. A 2-run home run back in inning number 1. 2 for 4 on Friday with a home run and a double. So French is becoming a familiar foe for the Harbor Hawks.
Yeah, and if the bases weren't loaded, I would say to intentionally walk French, but seeing as the bases are loaded, you're kind of forced to throw to him.
A difficult day for Halverson in Hyannis. First pitch to French is grounded to third. A diving stop by Mann. To his feet, the throw across the diamond is in time. How about that? Luke Mann makes a sensational stop to end the inning. Further damage is stopped, and the Harbor Hawks chasing 6. We head to the bottom of the second. Bottom of the second inning, Hyannis looking to cut this deficit down as the Falmouth Commodores lead it 6-0. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill with you as we await a little bit of a comeback here. As Luke Mann grounds the first pitch down to second, and he's retired for a quick out number 1.
Yeah, and in both innings so far, the leadoff batter, Caden Rose in the first, and now Luke Mann have both swung on and put that first pitch in play. It's just a matter of being able to find the right spot, as both have been pretty direct putouts.
Mitchell Hardigan digs in with one away. Batting in the 5-hole tonight. Got the start in left field, his usual position that he's been holding down this season. Hardigan from Florida Atlantic University. Made the drive up here, stopped a couple of places along the way to spend some time with family. About 22 hours, he said, in total. He stopped in, I believe, one of the Carolinas. He stopped in Connecticut, he said, and then made his way here to Cape Cod. The 1-1. Outside corner for a called strike. Hardigan behind in the count, 1-2.
Hardigan hitting .308 so far for the season. He went 0 for 3 in last night's game against the Anglers with a pair of strikeouts and a ground out.
He takes a ball, 2-2 the count. Adam Stone into his second inning of work. A quick first inning for Stone as he retired Rose on a flyout. He walked Kyle Ball, who was then caught stealing, and then rung up Jake Cunningham on a called third strike. But Hardigan working the count now to full at 3-2, looking to disrupt the rhythm going for Stone. Stone, a long, lengthy pitcher, as Hardigan grounds that one to short. Ahuna is there, the throw across the diamond in time, and there's 2 away.
And that throw from Ahuna a little bit offline, as that was kind of a close play there by DeCouta as he grabbed the ball and then barely had his foot on the bag. He brought it off pretty quickly after making that grab.
In steps Marcos Pujols, the first baseman. He had the night off last night in Chatham. A little bit of a slow start for Pujols. He's 0 for his first 12, looking for that first hit. In batting practice, he can hit the ball about 400 feet. He's made some solid contact in the last couple of games. First pitch misses for a ball, 1-0. And the accolades speak for themselves for Pujols. He was named to the ABCA Rawlings East All-Region second team. Hit .346 at Dayton with 12 bombs in Lincoln. He's just a pro-seasoned hitter who's off to a bit of a slow start in the Cape.
Yeah, and even the best hitters will find a slump every once in a while, but whenever he gets out of that slump, I have a feeling we'll see an electric season from Pujols.
The count is even at 1 to the Dayton Slugger. The 1-1. Tried to shoot the outside corner, but was too far outside as the count moves to 2-1. Jonathan French also solid defensively behind the plate. Sports the Clemson orange and purple. Teammates with Harbor Hawk catcher Adam Hackenberg. We chatted with Adam before the game. As Taylor got a chance to interview him earlier tonight. We saw that in the Hawk Talk pregame show. And Adam with 2 athletic brothers. One, Christian Hackenberg, who was the quarterback for the Jets, as that one's popped foul by Pujols out of play. And another brother who played at Penn State for soccer in Lincoln and was drafted in the first round for Major League Soccer.
And that's something you love to see from a very, very athletic family. Yeah, they have a streak of family members that have been drafted, and no doubt that's what Pujols is looking to do here, is get drafted.
The Hackenberg.
Oh, Hackenberg, I do. Yeah, that's right, yeah.
The 3-2 by Pujols is grounded to short. The throw in the hole by Ahuna is in time, and Pujols is robbed of an infield single to end the second inning. Harbor Hawks chasing 6. We'll be back for the top of the third on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Back here for the top of the third inning, new pitcher on the hill for the Harbor Hawks. It's the left-hander, Austin Wallace. Wallace making his second appearance of the season, fired 2 innings, allowed 2 hits, 1 run. No walks and 1 strikeout. Might be asked to go a couple of innings here as he enters in the top of the third. Starter Halverson, a little bit of a rough go of things on the mound tonight. Allowed 6 earned runs, 4 hits on his line. As Pendleton fires down to second in. We're about ready to go here in inning number 3.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, just not the start that we want, that we would have liked to see from Halverson, especially after how dominant he was in that season opener. And just a struggle of a night for him, and hopefully that'll be the only one for the season.
Alex Sayer digging in, the designated hitter. And the first pitch of the night from Wallace is outside for a ball. 1-0. It was the Harwich game we saw Wallace earlier in the year, just a few days ago, as that misses for a ball. 2-0. Sayer digging in for the second time in the ball game. Grounded out to second. Back in the first as he pops it up. Left side of the infield, Kyle Ball backs up into shallow center field. More towards left, makes the catch for out number 1. An important first out as the Harbor Hawks had a previous allowed the leadoff man in the last 2 innings to reach, but they retire Sayer.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a scary fly ball, too, as Ball ended up having to backtrack it the whole way there, as he just had to keep on tracking that ball and backing up in order to make the grab.
In steps Bryson Ware for the second time, went down swinging, and he hits that one relatively well to center field. Rose is shading back towards left center and makes the catch for out number 2, a 1-pitch flyout. And Austin Wallace is having some success out of the Harbor Hawk pen.
Yeah, 2 very quick outs, and off the bat, that ball looked like it was going to go quite a ways, and we saw it did, landing just a few yards shy of that warning track. Is good job there from Rose being able to track that one down.
2 away. That brings in the 9-hitter, Cody Colden. Colden was hit by a pitch last inning. That was the second. He stole a base and later came home to score thanks to a Maui Ahuna single. First stolen base of the year by Holden, or Colden rather, as he's ahead in the count to Wallace, 1-0. Austin Wallace, the left-handed pitcher. It's a fastball that sits about 88, grounded up the middle. Ricciardi near the second base bag. The throw on to first is picked by Pujols for out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning. The Commodores go down in order. Hyannis coming up to bat in just a moment. Back here for the bottom of the third inning as the Harbor Hawks getting ready to dig in. But first, a word from Curry College. Curry College is where you go to become anything you want. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs, NCAA Division III athletics, and continuing education and graduate studies, including fifth-year master's programs at www.curry.edu. New pitcher on the hill for the Falmouth Commodores. We'll have the name in just a moment.
That is number 21, Tyler Tuthill. Coming to us all the way from Appalachian State University.
Left-hander coming in to face a Harbor Hawks lineup that has its share of left-handers. It's Dominic Johnson and Pendleton, 2 righties to lead it off, then Ricciardi, a lefty. Most days, Lincoln, we see about 5 lefties in the lineup. A little bit more righty-heavy today, but still a few lefties sprinkled in. But Dominic Johnson will dig in for the first time in the ball game, the designated hitter from Kansas State.
Johnson, we've seen the power that he has with the bat. See if he can put it in play here.
First pitch by Tuthill. Called strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Johnson 1 for 14 on the season. The one hit was important to Hyannis as it helped propel them to a 7-4 victory over the Katuitt Kettleers last week, and that hit was the 2-run home run to right center field. The wind is blowing that way too. But Johnson's behind in the count to Tuthill, 0-2. The windup and the pitch. That pitch broke about a foot inside.
That was a lot of movement on that curveball. Holy cow.
And we have a good vantage point up here in the booth, but I haven't seen movement like that all season from a pitch.
No.
I mean, that thing just broke across the plate.
Yeah, my eyes widened at how much that ball broke. My goodness.
Comes back with a straight fastball that Johnson fights off. The count moves to 1-2. And Lincoln, we've talked about the speed and the movement on pitches. It's not always the speed. It's the movement that really throws off a lot of guys.
Yeah, and after seeing that movement from that breaking ball, no doubt Johnson has to be kind of wondering whether that pitch is going to be coming again.
Good piece of hitting for Johnson as he lines a base hit into left field, and the Harbor Hawks have the leadoff man on here in the bottom of the third.
Well, there goes the no-hitter. Just a great piece of hitting there from Johnson. He took that fastball in and really just ripped it down into the left field spot for Ware to grab.
In steps the catcher, Caleb Pendleton. He's 0 for 5 on the year at the dish. Started against Harwich most recently. First pitch to Pendleton misses low for a ball, 1-0 the count. Couldn't really ask for a better night for baseball here on a gorgeous Sunday in Hyannis.
I was actually thinking about this before the game started, how last night we were talking about how little we'd seen the sun during ball games, and for tonight's game we have a perfect sunshine, really, with a little bit of shade, but very sunny day.
Now, normally I'd tell you don't jinx it, knock on wood, but I think we're safe tonight.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't see any clouds in the forecast or anything.
Yeah, I looked at the forecast before the game started. Rain chances non-existent, so we should be good.
Never non-existent in New England, but very, very minimal.
Yeah.
Because in New England, fair. You never know.
That's fair. Yeah.
There are days where it's 90 and sunny, and next thing you know, Mother Nature decides to have it rain on you.
Yeah, we have a couple of days like that every year down in the Lone Star State as well.
The 1-2 to Pendleton, misses inside with a fastball. 2-2. The count evens up to the catcher. Pendleton comes to us from Jensen Beach, Florida, about 2.5 hours north of Miami on the eastern part of the state. The 2-2 to the catcher. And the dirty gets by French to the backstop, so Dominic Johnson moves up, and the Harbor Hawks will have the first runner in scoring position of the night.
And that was another breaking ball with just that huge movement that we've seen tonight, and that one proved to be a little too much for French as that bounced off of his glove and went over him.
Count full to Pendleton. Johnson gets his lead at second base. Looking at the signs here from the pitcher, Tuthill. Takes a look at second, the windup and the pitch, and the curveball gets him at 72 miles an hour. What a pitch that is.
Beautiful pitch there. That nasty, nasty breaking ball, and just a great first out to get if you're Tuthill.
And in steps Mariano Ricciardi, left-handed hitter, and he might have some trouble with this curveball coming up here because it breaks from that left-handed hitter's box right over the plate. We know how tough a lefty-lefty matchup can be. Chardy's been a great defensive player this season for the Harbor Hawks, looking to have that bat come around.
And Austin, I think Tuttle might have heard you as he went with a first pitch breaking ball there.
Chardy, an aggressive hitter. Some nights you'll see him swing early in counts, but Tuttle knows what pitches are working for him right now. The 1-0, he comes inside, and that misses for a ball. 2-0 to Ricciardi. Ricciardi 1 for 13 on the air, a pair of walks. He's also hit by a pitch in last night's ball game. Ricciardi, one of the few players here where their home state is also Massachusetts, from the Worcester area, as that one's a called strike on the outside corner. 2-1. The Osprey fly around the outfield here, where the Harbor Hawks get their name, as they have a nest on the pole down the right field line behind the visitor dugout. Ricciardi swings, fouls it off the pole that supports the netting, and the count evens up at 2-2. Decent amount of fans here, Lincoln, but very, very quiet McKeon Park tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think once we start, if we can get some runs across the plate, there might be some noise that starts up from this Harbor Hawk crowd. But right now, yeah, very quiet night from this decently sized crowd.
Johnson gets his lead at second. Tittleton's windup, or Tuthill's lineup, excuse me, as he gets Ricciardi swinging and missing at a fastball for out number 2. Back-to-back punch-outs for Tuthill.
Yeah, and on that one, Ricciardi just couldn't catch up to it as he ended up swinging and just couldn't connect with it.
2 away in the inning. Runner still in scoring position at second. That brings in the Harbor Hawks leadoff man, Caden Rose. Rose flew out to right field in the first at-bat for Hyannis in the ball game. Bottom of the first inning, that was. 6 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Falmouth. No runs, 1 hits, no errors for the Harbor Hawks as they chase 6, and that pitch comes in and thought it hit Rose, but evidently no. Johnson's caught at second. The throw to third, not in time, so Dominic Johnson advances on a ball in the dirt. And I thought that one may have hit Rose, but it does not as he advances on the ball in the dirt.
And that was an unexpected play call over there at third, as it seems that Johnson ended up sliding around the tag. The throw beat him to the bag, but I guess he ended up sliding around the tag and getting in safely.
The 1-0 to Rose is a ball, but he checked his swing. They checked with first base umpire Patrick Burns, but he says, indeed, Rose held up. The 2-0 from Tuthill popped foul. 2-1 the count. It was a 5-run first inning that propelled the Commodores to this early lead. Followed up by 1 run coming across in the second. Austin Wallace retired the Commodores in order in the third. That brings us here to the bottom of the third with Caden Rose at the dish, with an even count at 2 apiece and 2 outs in the inning. Dominic Johnson, the Harbor Hawks DH, gets his lead from third. The pause from Tuthill, the windup and the pitch. Misses low, 3-2. The count is full.
Great eye there from Rose, just keeping disciplined at the plate.
And something just blew out down the right field line. It's a 3-2. Rose hits on the ground hard to third. Fielded there by Taylor. Throw across the diamond in time for the third out. The side is retired. The Harbor Hawks strand him in 90 feet away. Before we get to the fourth, we're going to check in with our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer.
Thanks, guys. Game 2 of 6 that the Hyannis Harbor Hawks will take on the Falmouth Commodores. A great matchup for both teams tonight, as it's evident how much these guys love the game of baseball. Adam Hackenberg explained to me prior to the game how much he loves the game of baseball, saying that baseball is the most challenging sport, both physically and mentally. I would say that the rest of these guys agree with that, as they come out here and compete every night in hopes of making this a professional career for themselves. As we head to the top of the 4th, Austin and Lincoln, back to you.
Thank you very much, Taylor. We're going to do a quick break, the top of the 4th inning, in just a moment on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Ready to go here in the top of the 4th inning. Maui Ahuna digs in, and he's off to a solid start in the ball game. 2 for 2, a pair of singles, 1 RBI, and a stolen base. Lefty-lefty matchup is Austin Wallace back on the bump for his 2nd inning of work out of the Harbor Hawks bullpen. Off-speed pitch finds the zone for a called strike.
That was a really beautiful pitch there from him.
Swing and a miss on the breaking ball outside. The count goes to 0-2.
Back-to-back outside breaking balls, and it's shown that it's really working for him this inning.
The 0-2. Tap slowly down the first base line. It will get out of play, so the count will hold at 0-2. After 3 straight breaking balls from Wallace, we think we see a 4th here, Lincoln?
No, I'd say after 3, he's not. I'd say that if you did go with the 4th, he would know it was coming, so I'd say he goes with a fastball here. Fastball inside, I'm going to call. Haven't been right yet, but I think this is the first.
Let's see where Wallace goes. The breaking ball is tapped foul. Not yet, Lincoln, not yet.
Wow, 4 in a row.
That is shocking. You don't see that very often, but Ahuna hasn't really adjusted to it yet. I mean, 5 in a row, I don't know if we see that.
No.
So maybe a fastball here?
Yeah, fastball here. Of course, I thought it was a fastball before, so if it's 5, I will genuinely be shocked.
Ooh! That one comes in and drills Ahuna, so he will reach base safely. That's a 3rd hit batter on the Commodores.
Oh, and you know that's going to hurt, as that got him right in the shoulder blade. Yikes. Very painful pitch there.
In steps Curiali for the 3rd time in the ball game. 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch back in the 1st inning. Came home to score, thanks to a bases clearing double from Jake DeCouta. Throw over to first is not in time. Ahuna dives back safely. He already stole a base in the ball game.
Now, am I wrong, or was that the first pickoff move that we've had all game long?
You are correct there, Lincoln.
And it was a good one, too. He almost got him.
He did, and I think that's why Falmouth is getting so comfortable on the base pass, as Harbor Hawks just don't throw over very often.
We saw earlier, I think it was Ahuna that actually was leaning towards second base the last time he was on.
So Wallace behind in the count 2-0 to Curiali. Ahuna gets his lead at first. Wallace come home. Ground ball the ball at short. Flip on to Ricciardi at second for 1. Throw to first is too high. It pulls Pujols off the bag. So the Harbor Hawks settle for a fielder's choice and 1 out.
Well, I have to say, that was almost a great double play for this top of the 4th inning. That throw just a little bit too high, and it
turn it to just one. But hey, better to get one than none. Am I right?
Absolutely, and that would have been close either way, even if the throw was on target. In steps Braden Taylor, the third baseman. Wallace utilizing that off-speed pitch. It misses outside this time. Taylor has yet to register an official at-bat as he has walked both times and scored once. Curiali on first. Taylor at the dish. Wallace on the hill. 2-0 the count to the third baseman for Falmouth. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill here with you as the Harbor Hawks trail the Commodores 6-0. And Austin Wallace puts a fastball in the dirt as the count moves to 3-0. Called strike. 3-1.
Getting that first strike very important. Being able to keep another 4-pitch walk from going over to first is very important here.
Ground ball to first.
And
it's foul. Count goes to full.
Just like that, Wallace is already back in this at bat. Down 3-0, and he's given two straight strikes.
Counts full as the runner goes to second. Popped up. It's in play. Caden Rose is camped under it in center. He makes the catch. Curiali retreats to first, and there's 2 away.
Pretty routine there for Rose out there in center field. He had to move over a little bit to his right, but ended up making a pretty routine play for that second out. A little too far for that double play, trying to get Curiali over at first, but still a good play nonetheless.
Pinch hitter here for the Commodores. It's Brendan Malone entering the game for Jake Ducard, and Ducard had the bases clearing double as Malone swings at the first pitch and flies it to center field. And Rose on the run. Cunningham will make the call and the catch for out number 3. Commodores strand 1, the Harbor Hawks chasing 6. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Back here for the bottom of the 4th, Kyle Ball getting ready to lead us off. A little bit of defensive changes here for the Commodores as Bryson Ware goes to first. Malone comes in at third. It's Sayer, the DH, who started the game. Well, started the game at DH. He's in left field now. Looks like Braden Taylor may be at DH now. Lots of movement going around here on the Commodore side of things.
It's really hard to keep up with everybody moving around.
We'll try to try to clear that up to see who the substitutions are. Looks like Brayton Taylor's also out of the game.
Pitcher's taking a spot in the lineup.
Kyle Ball swings and pops it up. 2-2 the count. Ball walked back in the first inning, but was caught stealing, trying to swipe second base. Called strike 3. Kyle Ball goes down looking, and first out in the bottom of the 4th comes by way of the punch out.
Well, that fastball inside corner at 89 miles an hour, a great pitch there from Tuttle, and just a great start as yet another Harbor Hawk goes down with a strikeout.
Jake Cunningham digs in for the second time. He swings with the first pitch, taps it back to the mound. Tuthill turns and throws and retires Cunningham for a 1-3 putout on out number 2.
That played more difficult than it looks for Tuthill, as he had to move off that uneven mound, pick up the ball, and then had to turn a little bit longer, being a left-hander, and just had to turn and throw to first a little bit longer of a play than it would be for a right-hander.
Luke Mann comes in. He's 0 for 1, grounded out to second base back in the second inning, and he takes an off-speed pitch for a ball, 1-0. Chasing 6 now, Lincoln. What is the game plan here for Hyannis to claw their way back?
Honestly, as of now, you just got to get hits. You got to put people on base somehow. And as you saw, we've had a runner on second, but that's as far as we've gotten so far. And really, it's just putting runners in scoring position. But first, you got to get runners on base first, and we've only had 2 so far that have reached.
The 1-1 from Tuthill misses outside. The count moves to 2-1. Stone got the start for the Commodores, went too strong. And then we saw Tuthill come in for inning number 3 and now 4. And he has been solid in relief. 3 strikeouts on the line. Just 1 base runner allowed. It was a single by Dominic Johnson. He is behind Luke Mann, 3-1 the pitch. Ball 4, so a 2-out walk here as the Harbor Hawks looking to put something together and start to claw their way back into this ball game.
Yeah, and like you said, Tuthill with just a great, impressive outing so far. Just that man who just reached first is just the second runner on base for Tuthill's outing, and he's doing great. And hopefully this is the time that the Harbor Hawks start to time up with that pitch.
Mitchell Hardigan digs in for the second time. Grounded out to short. Back in the second inning. Mann gets his lead at first. Hardigan at the plate. He takes a called strike on the outside corner. The count evens up at 1-1. Tyler Bullock, the umpire behind the dish tonight, likes the outside corner. That one misses up for a ball, 2-1.
Tried to get that breaking ball in there again, but it just ended up hanging too far up high.
Mann extends his lead another step at first. The fastball is behind Hardigan, or Hardigan's behind the fastball, I should say. And the count moves to 2-2 with 2 away in the inning. Tuthill gets his signs from French. The 2-2 fouled straight back off the netting. The count will hold where it is.
With the
shaking your hat again.
Yeah, you know, with the 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs, you got to do it. You know, it's just a way of life, I would say. Oh, the water bottle, I like it. Yeah, just shake something.
And it's a swing and a miss, so the hat shake does not help Hyannis here as the side is retired. Harbor Hawks chasing 6, top of the 5th. Back with you in just a moment. Top of the 5th inning here from Judy, Walden, Scarifile Field. Austin, DeCouta, Lincoln, Revill in the booth. Taylor Farmer on the sidelines. We've heard a couple times from Taylor today. Jace Borfrin getting ready to lead us off here in the top of the 5th. It's 6 runs on 4 hits. No errors for Falmouth. No runs, 1 hit. No errors for the Harbor Hawks. A little pause in the action as home plate umpire E. Tyler Bullock fixing up his mask before we get going. Austin Wallace back on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. His first 2 innings have been clean. No runs coming across the plate while he's been on the rubber. Looking to make it 3 consecutive. Wallace comes set. First pitch of the inning is a breaking ball that misses inside for a ball, 1-0. Some action now in the Commodores bullpen as a right-hander gets loose, and got a reliever stretching in the Harbor Hawks bullpen as well, not yet warming up completely.
Over in the Commodores bullpen, that's going to be Charles Harrison.
Looks like we'll see him to start next inning.
And then meanwhile, for the Harbor Hawks, it's going to be Marc. A
couple of right-handers getting loose from each team. Looks like this is Austin Wallace's inning to work through as Adamiak has just started stretching, no throwing yet out there. Down the left field line here at McKeon Park. The bullpen's down each of the foul lines in play. That's a ball, 3-2, the count is full. Jonathan French, the hottest hitter on Falmouth, is on deck. And Lincoln, he's not to jump too far ahead, but French, 1 for 2 on the night. And that ball he hit last inning could have been a base hit if it wasn't for a sensational play by Luke Mann at third.
Yeah, Mann just showing himself to be a highlight reel here.
Ground ball to second, Ricciardi on to first, 1 away.
And Ricciardi responsible for both putouts for Borfin, and he's really showing himself to be quite an asset in this game as he's made a handful of good plays over there at second base.
And here comes the aforementioned Jonathan French, the catcher from Clemson. Nobody on here as Wallace can now attack him without the threat of runs coming across besides the man at the plate. Fastball in the outside corner, called strike. It's so important to get ahead in counts, and Hyannis has struggled to do that because, Lincoln, when you're behind, 2-0, even 3-0 sometimes, you can really take away 2 of your pitches.
Yeah, exactly, and especially with that 2-0 count. It's to where you won't have a red light because you still have a ball to give, but the batter knows what's coming, and so he'll know that 90% of the time it'll be a fastball unless the pitcher just really trusts his breaking ball.
The 1-1 to French. Looks like it crossed up Pendleton a bit as it comes across the body and gets behind him as we have a race between the 2 bat boys for the ball, and the Falmouth bat boy wins the race but tosses it over to the Hyannis bat boy. All is well here at McKeon Park. The 2-1 from Wallace, fouled straight back off the netting. 2-2 the count.
And this is actually the first time tonight where French has gone more than 1 pitch into his at-bat. Both of his at-bats so far in the first and second innings, he's hit the ball on the first pitch of both of those.
Showing some patience here as he grounds a 2-2 foul down the third base line, off his foot, out of play either way. Quiet night, the flag standing relatively still. It blows a little bit occasionally as it picks up now with the wind. The 2-2 to French. He laces that one to left. It's another hit for the Clemson catcher who keeps on hitting.
And I think I saw some steam leaving the bat of French as that piece of wood is just on fire for him in this series, especially as we mentioned earlier, 2 for 4 on Friday night and 2 for 3 already tonight.
One out, man on first. Wallace fires and misses for a ball 1-0 as Alex Sayer, the DH who moved to left field, steps in. Pickoff move to first. It's close, but French gets back in safely. He runs well for a catcher. Lincoln taking a moment to look at the scores around the league. Bourne leads Cotuit 8-2 in the bottom of the 7th. Chatham leads Harwich 6-5 in the bottom of the 6th. YD Red Sox and the Orleans Firebirds in a pitching duel 0-0 in the top of the 8th. And the Brewster Whitecaps lead the Wareham Gatemen 1-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. As that one is swung on and lifted to center field, Rose hesitated but breaks in, reaches up, makes the catch for out number 2.
And Rose almost misjudging that fly ball out there in the center field as he started running up on it and then ended up having to back up a little bit and hop to make the grab as he almost overran it.
2 away in the inning, French on first. That brings up Bryson Ware. Ware started the game in left field, moved over to first base. Count 1-0. Pickoff move, French back in safely, and Wallace has a good pickoff move over to first. Lincoln, we've seen it 3 times now since the lefty has entered the ball game.
Yeah, it's been really quick. He's gotten a couple of close plays over there, and he's inching closer and closer to finally picking someone off.
Wallace behind in the count to Ware, 2-0. Top of the 5th here from Hyannis. Harbor Hawks chasing 6. The 2-0 misses, 3-0. Maybe we'll see a little bit of increased activity out in the bullpen as Adamiak still stretching, getting loose. We have, as mentioned, the right-hander for the Commodores. It looks like he's ready to come into the ball game when we reach the bottom of the 5th. For now, Wallace remains on the hill for the Harbor Hawks. 3-0 is in for a called strike, 3-1. Gets a strike back here. French gets his lead from first, a 3-1. Ground ball down the third baseline. It will be fielded on a hop by the third base coach. Tossed over to the Harbor Hawks dugout. 3-2 the count. 2 away in the inning, so French will be off on the pitch from first. That runner in motion, very important to note, as a ball in the gap can be dangerous.
Especially with the speed that we've seen from French so far.
The 3-2 misses for a ball. It's another walk here issued by Harbor Hawks pitching, which puts runners on first and second with 2 away.
And just more trouble finding the strike zone here. He started out struggling and then came back into the count, throwing 2 straight strikes after those 3 straight balls, and then he just couldn't win the battle as he ended up giving up a walk.
Cody Colden digging in now for the 3rd time in the ballgame. Was hit by a pitch and scored in the 2nd. Also stole a base. First pitch to Colden misses outside, 1-0 to the second baseman. Top of the order on deck, so Wallace would like to bear down and end the inning before he gets back to the dangerous leadoff man, Maui Ahuna. Good deal of scouts here in attendance, as always. 2-0 the count to Colden. Coach Gary Calhoun signals down to the bullpen to ramp up the activity of Adamiak as he now picks up his glove and gets ready to take some warm-up tosses. Fouled straight back off the netting behind home plate. The count moves to 2-1. And we have another race to the bat, boys, and it's 2-0 Falmouth in the race for the baseball. Late break from the Hyannis side. Two-1 the count to the 9-hole hitter Colden. The windup and the pitch. Foul tip hung on to by the catcher Pendleton. Count evens up at 2 apiece. 2-2, 2 away, 2 runners on. Wallace a long look in for the signs from Pendleton. Checks his runners at second and first. The pitch. Good way to fight that off there by Colden as that pitch broke back in. A lot of hitters give up on that breaking ball that comes back into the zone.
I'd say that was a pretty good pitch for that 2-2 count. You still have a little bit of room to work, and good way to find that back door.
Two in the dirt. 3-2 the count. Full count with 2 away in the inning. Pendleton lets the infield know that the runners will be off on the pitch. It's the runner at second, French. The runner at first, Ware. And the man at the plate, Colden. Payoff pitch coming. The 3-2. Line drive to center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Takes a wicked hop and an athletic grab by Rose. A run will score nonetheless, but Caden Rose just saved another run from scoring and maybe further danger, but it's a 7-0 lead for Falmouth.
Yeah, that was a scary play there. Good jump there from Rose, showing off his hops as he barely was able to get to that ball as that almost sailed over his head. And that most definitely would have scored at least 2 runs. That would have been a chance, I'll say, for an inside the Parker.
That's what I was thinking.
It'd be questionable whether we would have gotten to it, but he definitely would have had the chance.
Runners on the corners now as Ware moved up from first to third on the pitch. That brings up the top of the order in Maui Ahuna. 2 for 2 on the night. A RBI, stolen base, a run scored. He's doing a little bit of everything. He also reached after being hit by a pitch. Ground ball back to Wallace. He throws to first and the inning is over. Wallace stops further damage. Bottom of the 5th. Harbor Hawks coming up to bat in just a moment on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. bottom of the 5th, ready to get going as this is the point in the ball game where we switch things up. Lincoln Revill going to take over the play-by-play duties. Lincoln, the mic is all yours.
Thank you, Austin. Another amazing outing from you as always. Just
thank you.
Almost gonna be impossible to follow that up.
Really shut him down tonight.
But Marcos Pujols about to start us off. All the way Dominic Johnson and Caleb Pendleton. Pujols so far at 0 for 1. He had a ground out over to short back in the second. Ahuna, really one of the players of the game so far for the Commodores, responsible for that put out. 0-1 now the counter for that first pitch finds the zone. We have a new pitcher here on the mound for the Commodores.
Yes, the right-hander Charles Harrison, Lincoln. He's got a pretty electric fastball at 92. We see all the scouts with the radar guns pointed at Harrison. I expect a lot of fastballs early on here. With a 7-run lead, you can afford to work on some things in this ball game.
Yeah, and Harrison at 6'1", 180 pounds from UCLA. The Bruin brings that 1-1 pitch home and misses outside for ball 2. Pujols from the University of Dayton, as we mentioned earlier on in the game. Had an electric season for Dayton, but he's been struggling at the plate so far for the Harbor Hawks as he launches one into right field, and he finds his first base hit of the season. And he's now 1 for 2 with a single.
Got to be happy for Pujols there.
Yeah, what better time to get your first base hit than whenever I'm talking about the struggles of the season so far for you, and then you just prove me wrong and go ahead and get your first hit of the season.
Yeah, he's been on the fastball all season, Lincoln. He got one there and just stayed within himself, put it to right field, and asked for the ball after for a souvenir. I don't know if they'll give it to him, but I think he was kind of joking. Good sign, though.
Now at the plate, Dominic Johnson. Johnson 1 for 1 as he launches that one back up the middle. That's through for a base hit. Past Ahuna, and we now have runners on first and second as Pujols moves over to second base, and Johnson now 2 for 2.
Look at that, Lincoln. You take over play-by-play, back-to-back singles, and
hey,
we're in business.
Look at that. I have to say, I don't think that. I think it's just a lucky night. Now Pendleton at the plate. Caleb Pendleton 0 for 1. The catcher behind the plate for the Harbor Hawks here tonight. As he watches that first one go by up high. And a large strike zone for Pendleton. 6'2", 190 pounds from FAU. Originally from Baton Rouge. Oh, wait. Hold up. Nope. I read that wrong. Boca Raton. That's where that is, not Baton Rouge. See, he hits that one over towards short. Ahuna picks that one up, throws over to second in time for 1. That early slide from Johnson as he goes down. Meanwhile, runners now to the corners as Pujols moves over to third. Pendleton reaches on the fielder's choice, and with 1 away, we have runners on the corners. And Pujols, after his first hit of the season, now the first runner for the Harbor Hawks tonight to reach third base. And with Ricciardi at the plate, chance for the Harbor Hawks to finally find the board and slowly start chipping away at that 7-0 deficit.
Ricciardi hits righties well. If he can get a fastball, I wouldn't be surprised if he swings to the first pitch.
And that first pitch fastball, no swing there as that misses just a bit outside.
A good thing he didn't swing there as that one, I don't know if he would have made contact. It was in the right-handed hitter's box.
Yeah, definitely not. That was...
Should have said if he gets a fastball in the zone, I wouldn't be surprised if he swung.
There's a little bit of a reach there for French behind the plate as the 1-0 pitch comes in. That breaking ball gets past French, and that's going to score a run. Pujols comes in. His first hit, and that actually is... did he call a balk?
I do not know.
That was the first base umpire, Sparky Burns, vocal as he has been all game long. Yelled something, pointed at the plate, and then...
Well, either way, Pujols is scoring.
Yeah, Pujols definitely scored, and Pendleton free ride over to second now as another runner in scoring position. And the Harbor Hawks now on the board. That goose egg is gone with 1 run here in the bottom of the 5th.
That's an important run, Lincoln. Shutout last night, and it's good to get one on the board. Now let's see if the bats can pick up.
1-0 the count. The pitch comes home, and that misses for ball 2. Harrison from the stretch with that runner on second. And he comes home. That finds the outside corner. And with the 3-0 count, brings the count to 3-1, 1 away. And with this count coming up here, you got to be looking for fastball here. It's with no balls to give, you got to be looking fastball here as you.
I'd say so.
Yeah. And that fastball fouled off as that heads out of play just behind the bleachers behind the Harbor Hawk dugout. Brings the count to full 3-2.
A few hundred fans in attendance tonight, Lincoln. Another good turnout here at McKeon Park.
Yeah, no matter. So far this season, every home game that we've had, it's always been pretty good turnout from the fans here tonight. Or this season, that is, including tonight. As the 3-2 swung on and missed, Ricciardi goes down swinging. He's now 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts with Caden Rose up to the plate. And with a runner on second after getting that first run, that's not the outcome that you want from Ricciardi in his second at-bat. You were hoping that he could bring that runner around from second, that runner in Pendleton over at second base.
Absolutely, and now with Caden Rose at the plate, he's just looking to put a ball in play here. As you mentioned, try to get that runner home, and Rose does a good job at putting the ball in play. Very aggressive. You see him swing at the first pitch there, Lincoln. I don't mind the aggressiveness. You're down 7-1.
Yeah, swing away.
You're not looking to work the count with 2 outs necessarily. You're looking to get on base, make something happen.
Yeah, the only way you can come back at this deficit is by putting the ball in play and really being aggressive at the plate. And so far, Rose has put the ball in play twice tonight, a fly out in the first and then a ground out in the third. So he can put the ball in play. It's just a matter of getting it down for a hit. As that 0-1 pitch finds the outside part of the zone for strike 2. And the last thing you want to do is leave that runner stranded at second base. He got there with 1 away. And you'd like him to come in before you get that third out. The 0-2. Just missing on the outside corner. A beautiful pitch there from Harrison, but just a little bit too far outside.
French held it, wanted the call. E. Tyler Bullock, the home plate umpire, would not oblige.
1-2 now the count as the sun starts to creep below the horizon. The 1-2. Ripped, and that's down for a base hit into left field. That's going to be picked up by Sayer. Runner comes home, and that's going to score a run for the Harbor Hawks as they now score 2 runs in the bottom half of the 5th. And that is an RBI single for Caden Rose.
Good piece of hitting by Rose. He stays on the pitch, drives it to left field. And Pendleton, for a catcher, has good enough speed to come home on that. And that's what you got to do, 1 run at a time as the Harbor Hawks are chipping away at this deficit.
And they've had 3 hits so far in this inning. 3 out of the 4 have been in this bottom of the 5th inning.
All off Harrison, who came in relief this inning, and they're just timing up the fastball, Lincoln.
Yeah, they are. By far the best inning so far of this game for the Harbor Hawks.
Absolutely. Best inning in the last couple of games. I mean, last night with just the 1 hit.
And that 1-0 pitch now to Kyle Ball finds his own strike 1. 1-1 now the count. Tonight's game between the Harbor Hawks and the Commodores, a West Division game. The Commodores currently sitting in second place at 2 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie behind the undefeated Bourne Braves as this one fouled off, brings the count to 1-2. The Harbor Hawks currently, on the other hand, sitting in last place at 1-4 on the season, 1 win and 4 losses behind the Kettleers and Wareham Gatemen, who are currently tied for that 3rd place spot at 2 wins and 3 losses.
Yeah, the Bourne Braves is off to a heck of a start.
And that 1-2 pitch is called for strike 3. That will end the 5th inning. The Harbor Hawks find the board and some as they score 2 in this bottom half of the 5th inning. We head to the 6th. Commodores leading 7-2 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Top of the 6th inning coming up from Judy, Walden, Scarifile Field at McKeon Park. Lincoln Revill alongside Austin DeCouta here for this game between the Harbor Hawks and the Falmouth Commodores. And before we get underway here, as we are moments away, fans, for your weekly review of everything Harbor Hawk, subscribe to, oh, excuse me, did you, Austin, you already read that, I do apologize. I almost wouldn't have been as good, but moving on to the one that I was actually supposed to read. Did you miss some of the Harbor Hawk action? Well, be sure to check out the nightly postgame show Hawk Talk on the Harbor Hawks YouTube page for a rundown on everything you missed in that game, all in 3 minutes or less. Go to youtube.com, search Hyannis Harbor Hawks, and catch up on everything Harbor Hawk. And right after the conclusion of tonight's game, Austin and I will be getting on to that postgame show pretty quickly afterwards.
Yeah, and Taylor usually grabs an interview with one of the players, so definitely worth the watch as you get to know this Harbor Hawk team. And it's been a lot of games so far, but Lincoln, and you put it into perspective, we still have 30-plus games left.
Yeah, it's going to be – this is definitely cut out to be quite the summer for all of these players and us in general as well.
And I talked to them before the game, and Dominic Johnson and Jake Cunningham were telling me they only play about 2 to 3 games a week in college. So this is just completely different for them. The preparation is different. There's batting practice every day. Thursday's obviously the off day most weeks, but it's 6 days of batting practice for them. It's trying to mix in some weightlifting sessions at local gyms in between, but it's so different than the college level because you have classes during the school year in addition to the practices, and they're not playing the 6 games a week like they are here.
Yeah, and as this one hit back up the middle, that's going to be Ricciardi making the throw on the run, and that is just late as Curiali ends up reaching on an infield single, and an impressive throw there from Ricciardi, but he just can't make it as that is just a step late. Yeah, as you were saying, Austin, the college level only playing 2 to 3 games a week and 6 games a week here. And really, I'd say that this season is a lot more similar to the minor league season than it is college. And that, I have to say, that's probably what a lot of these scouts are looking for, who can really last throughout this whole summer after playing a ton of games a week.
Absolutely. It's so different than the collegiate level, and obviously not everyone's playing every single day. This is the 4th straight day that we've seen like Jake Cunningham out there, the 4th straight game for him. We've seen a lot of Kyle Ball. Luke Mann rotates with Mason Greer. The catchers obviously rotate between the 3 of them. But some of the guys have become staples in the lineup. Caden Rose as well, Mitch Hardigan in there a lot. So some of these guys are going to get tired. You know, he runs.
An early steal, throw over to that shortstop Ball making the grab, and that is an easy out for the Harbor Hawks. Out number 1 now is Curiali. Tried to get that early steal, tried to draw the balk, I guess, but ended up with a little gimme out as the Harbor Hawks now with an easy 1 away. Yeah, I was sorry to interrupt you there during that sentence.
No, you're good. I was surprised he was going.
0-1 now the count. Marc Adamiak now the pitcher, as this one is lofted towards left field, and that is going to be Hardigan settling under it for out number 2. And the Harbor Hawks back in command of this half inning, as with 2 away, that's Jake DeCouta now stepping to the plate. DeCouta currently at 1. Actually, that is Malone. I apologize. There is he came in for DeCouta back in the 4th inning. Came up to the plate in the 4th after originally coming into the field in the 3rd. Currently at 0 for 1 with a fly out back in that 4th inning of play as he watches that one go past him for strike 1. Malone, 6'1", 200 pounds, the sophomore at South Carolina, Columbia, as he launches that one towards right field. And that's Cunningham settling under it for out number 3, and that ends the top of the 6th. And the Commodores, after starting with a base hit, end up going 3 up, 3 down, not the kind that you'd expect, but still go down quietly heading to the bottom of the 6th here on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Jake Cunningham set to start us off here after ending that top of the 6th with that fly out to end that half inning as he digs into the right-handed box. Cunningham, Mann, and Hardigan the next 3 up as this first pitch from Harrison drops down a little bit low for ball 1. Cunningham at 0 for 2. Went down looking in the 1st and had that ground out over to the pitcher in the 4th, and that was Tuthill with that put out in the 4th. As that 1-0 pitch finds his own for strike one. That evens the count.
Cunningham's been solid this season, Lincoln. He didn't start the first couple of games, but he's done a nice job since getting the start, and he's stayed in that 3-hole the last 2 games.
Yeah, Cunningham coming into tonight's game with a 308 average, currently hitless on the night so far, but I'd say the game's still relatively young. We're starting to cut short, but still a few innings left to play. The 1-2, Harrison comes home. That misses the zone. Drops a little bit low, ball 2. Count now even at 2-2. Cunningham staying loose, swinging that bat a couple times before coming with it over his shoulder. He swings and misses. That's strike 3. Cunningham going down swinging for out number 1 with Luke Mann ready to go. And we have a very interesting game going on in another game in the league. The YD Red Sox and the Orleans Firebirds currently tied at 0 in the top of the 9th inning. As we know, in this league, no extra innings. So after 9, there's no clear winner. We'll end up with a tie. So it'll be very interesting to see how the end of that game plays out. Count at 1-0, 1 away. Man 0 for 1. He grounded out in the second and reached on a walk in the 4th. He flies that one, and that's down for base hit into left field. That's going to be Sayer coming up with it and throwing it in, and that is a 1-out single for Luke Mann, and he has his first hit of the night.
Great piece of hitting there by Mann. Gets a fastball on the outer half of the plate, just stays there and drives it to the opposite field. And the Harborhawks now with 5 hits, just 1 shy of Falmouth's 6 hits, but obviously the run differential is the big difference maker in this ball game.
Yeah, the big difference between these two teams is the amount of walks. The Harborhawks have given up quite a handful of walks as compared to only a couple from the Commodores. As Mitch Hardigan stepping into the plate, watches that first one go inside for ball 1. Seeing a little bit of movement from the Harborhawk bullpen. We'll have that number for you here in just a bit. The 1-0 from Harrison finds the zone on the inside, brings the count even at 1 apiece. And that pitcher in the bullpen is going to be Evan Webster, the Louisville senior. 1-1 pitch fouled off. Brings count to 1-2. Hopefully didn't damage anybody's vehicle, but didn't hear any glass, so until we're told differently, I'm going to assume that nothing got damaged there. The 1-2. Breaking ball outside corner. He got him. Hardigan goes down with that backdoor breaking ball. And he's now 0 for 3 with a pair of Ks.
Terrific pitch there. Hardigan gave up on it, thought it was going to be too far outside, but at the last second, it just dips back into the strike zone. And unfortunately for Hardigan, he's down looking.
Marcos Pujols having himself a night. 1 for 2, his first hit of the season. In his last at-bat back in the 5th. He's back at the plate now. With 2 away, he watches that first one go up high and away.
Yeah, and that single was off of Harrison, who's still on the mound. So Pujols seen something he likes out of the right-hander's hand.
And Pujols in his first game since last time the Harborhawks played the Commodores. The 1-0, just missing on the outside, brings the count to 2 balls and no strikes with 2 away here in the bottom of the 6th. Again, the Commodores with a 7-2 lead. They got out to a 6-0 lead very early in this game after a 5-run first. 1 run in the second and another run in the 5th, which adds up to 7. As this 2-0 pitch swung on and missed, a big swing there from Pujols. He was looking to get something extra. This count now goes to 2-1. Harbor Hawks with only one inning of runs, as they added 2 back in the last half inning in the bottom of the 5th. Pujols digs back in, goes through his little pre-pitch routine. We're ready for this 2-1 pitch with 2 away. Here he comes. A hefty swing there again from the left-hander. And he can't connect, even count at 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 away now. As Austin, you've seen this already before. Yep. Home team, when your team is in this situation, you got to be shaking it. Shaking the pen, I like it. Just doing what you can with what you got. The 2-2. Down low. 3 balls and 2 strikes now. And it's finally worked.
There you go.
And the second time tonight, it finally worked. Counts full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Harrison with the payoff pitch in just a moment. Takes a deep breath at first. Runner goes, and that misses on the outside corner. Ball 4. Pujols finds base for the second time tonight as he narrowly misses that outside corner, and that's ball 4.
Very, very close pitch there from Harrison. Really wanted to get Pujols down looking on the fastball. Good eye by the power-hitting first baseman as he's now aboard, and good chance here for Dominic Johnson-Lincoln. He had the single in the 5th against Harrison, timing up his fastball well. We'll see what he can do here.
And Johnson so far at 2 for 2. If he could get an RBI here, that'd be huge for him, as he has 2 already on the season. So at 5'8", the sophomore, future Kansas State Wildcat. Watches the 1-0 pitch go by. That's strike 1. That evens the count at 1 apiece.
Not a pitch that you can do a lot with on the breaking ball across the zone, so good take by Johnson as he waits a pitch that he can drive.
That's why you have 3 strikes, am I right?
Absolutely.
You can afford to be picky with that first strike, but now with 2 away, you got to really protect yourself here, as that one fouled off, hitting the netting just over to the left of our friends from Falmouth, the Falmouth broadcasters. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Harrison, the right-hander, with the breath, kicks and comes home. Just missing on the inside. A couple of close calls there for the Harbor Hawks, but Johnson stays alive as the count evens out at 2-2.
Tyler Bullock really having a tight zone. Get the hat, Lincoln.
Yep. Oh, time is called. Good old Rusty over at, that's Sparky, actually. Getting vocal over there at first base. And 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Johnson at the plate in the right-handed box. Here's the pitch. Lofted, that could be trouble as that heads towards the first base line. And that is going to be brought in. Colden making the grab for out number 3, and that ends the 6th. Harbor Hawks threatened to score, but end up going down scoreless as we head to the 7th. Commodores leading 7-2 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Evan Webster now up on the mound in place of Marc Adamiak. Salish went a little short tonight as he only lasted 1 inning. But Evan Webster now on the mound, the left-hander, ready with this first pitch to Jake Borfin. This one swung on.
An effective inning, though, for Adamiak. Didn't allow a run to come across. And the ball, Bat Boy race for the ball is now 3-0 in favor of Falmouth.
And this is the organized fight between the Bat Boys, unlike what we've seen a couple of times this season where kids just mob each other for the foul balls. Oh, 0-1 now the count. As Webster coming in from the windup. That one lofted over towards center field. That's going to be Rose ranging back towards the wall, and that is going to bounce over the walls. That is a ground rule double to start us off for Jace Borfin.
Ooh, we have 2 different calls. We have Sparky Burns over at first calling a home run.
Good old Sparky.
He signaled home run. He did. He was saying home run, but I think he's been overruled, and they're going to call it a double.
Yeah. I don't know if it – I feel like if it had gone over the fence and was a home run, I feel like we wouldn't have been able to see it bounce.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
The brush behind the fence, that's like that. You might have maybe 2 feet of difference from the fence to the brush.
Hey, but Sparky thought it was over, so
yeah,
that's why. I mean, he came running over from first with the hand up, but
and he has a better viewpoint than we do out here. We're straight up. He has a little bit more of a closer view.
I think Fonseca and Bullock overruled him, though.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It definitely was a ground rule double. I mean, you called it correctly.
Yeah.
I just noticed him coming over from first with the home run signal.
And now Jonathan French, who, as we know, has had the bat on fire, now at the plate. 0-1 the count. And Webster, coming from the stretch now, delivers. Misses inside. That one, Pendleton getting in front of it, or really just stopping it with his glove, as that evens the count at 1 apiece. Webster, the pitcher from the University of Louisville, 6'4", 220 pounds. Brings that one home. The 1-1 pitch is a called strike. Count now goes to 1-2.
Good pitch there by Webster, the off speed. You know, Jonathan French has been electric in this ball game and against us as a whole this season. So it's good to freeze him on a changeup or 2.
1-2 now the count. Webster with the pitch. Misses outside. Evens the count 2-2.
Big secondary lead at second by Borfin. So if Ricciardi can cover, I wouldn't be surprised, Lincoln, to see a snap throw back to second. Try to back pick Borfin.
Now Webster had a couple of good baseball offers. He chose the University of Louisville over Kentucky and Xavier as well. As this 2-2 pitch misses the zone, brings the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody out. Runner on second.
French might get himself a fastball here, and we know what he does to fastballs.
Yeah, you can't put it on the inside part of the plate. He'll take that for a ride, as we've seen this season. 3-2. Nobody out. The payoff. Swing and a miss. Jonathan French goes down with his first strikeout of the night, and he's now 2 for 4.
It's a great pitch. Outside part of the plate. Doesn't let him get it in the wheelhouse, and although it's 89, we've seen some fastballs. I mean, 89's quick, but we've seen some at 92, 94. But it had some tail to it. And you see French over near the on-deck circle telling Ware, who's in the on-deck circle, has some tail to it. He's pushing his hand to the side. Movement is key.
Yeah, and as we've talked about it a couple times this season, you don't have to have speed to really make it in the majors. One person that definitely comes to mind, Greg Maddux.
Yep.
The Da Vinci of baseball is some
pinpoint the ball on a dime.
Yeah. Paint the corners all day long, and he didn't. I don't think he threw above 90, 91.
Right. I think that was the highest he ever threw.
Yeah.
But now you have everybody in a bullpen on every team that hits 95, because that's what the analytics say. I mean, nothing against analytics. I think there's good and bad analytics, but part of the problem is not everybody has to throw 95 to be successful, and that's what they have you believing, is that your bullpen needs to be stacked with flamethrowers rather than guys who can make people miss.
Yeah, I remember someone telling me at a showcase once. I played in a couple of college showcases back in my day, I'll say. But I remember one person telling me that really no D1 college will look at you unless you throw 90 plus.
Which is crazy because a couple of the greatest pitchers, like you mentioned, Maddox, I mean, if at that age, maybe he wasn't yet hitting 90, probably around 88 or so. And I know he's at 88 from a lot of his career on his fastball, but he was one of the best to ever do it. And it's crazy how analytics have changed the game. They've changed it offensively. We're seeing an all-time low in batting average in the MLB. Major League Baseball, with the banning of spider tact and other sticky substances, trying to combat what they think is the pitchers using that, which is causing the low batting average. But I'm not, so sure that it's just the spider tact and the substances that are causing the batting average. It's the analytics as a part of it, because they tell you that launch angle and, extra base hits and exit velo is the most important.
Is this throw coming in? My goodness, the tag at third is, not in time. What a throw from Cunningham. He was near the warning track on that fly out. He launched that one over to third. Yeah. Third base umpire with the safe call, as that was a really close play over at third base.
Boyfriend was on a Sunday stroll from second to third, just taking his time, but I don't think he expected the arm from Jake Cunningham out there in right field. And luckily for Boyfriend, he gets his foot in there a step ahead.
Yeah, and I have to say, I really wasn't expecting that arm from Cunningham either.
Sometimes you never know until you see it in action.
Yeah.
That was the first time we really see Cunningham have to make a throw like that.
Yeah, definitely. You don't really know what kind of arm someone has until they really show it off, like Cunningham just did. And now the count at 1 ball and no strike to Bryson Ware. Ware at 0 for 2. Strikeout, a fly out, and he reached on a walk back in the 5th. So he swings at that one and misses, brings the count even at 1 apiece. Webster comes set. Runner now on third. That's Borfin getting a lead over at third base. Big swing and a miss on the breaking ball at 78 miles an hour. Piece of nastiness from Ware. So that brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Might double up on it a little bit here. He got some movement on all the pitches.
The 1-2. Just missing on the outside. Oh, what a pitch. And that brings the count even at 2 apiece. And that was just a little bit too far outside, maybe a few inches. Not as close as some of the pitches that we've seen, but still incredibly close. And here's the tiebreaker. That one's past Pendleton. Runner goes from third, and that's going to score a run for the Commodores as they now take a little bit of their lead back and now lead 8-2 here in the top of the 7th. And the hits and the runs for Falmouth now match each other as they now sit at 8 hits and 8 runs. Meanwhile, the Harbor Hawks with 2 runs on 5 hits. Both teams with no errors so far in tonight's game. The payoff. Breaking ball at 77 is fouled off. We'll bring the count to 3 ball. We'll stay at 3 balls and 2 strikes. And the 3-2 swung on and missed. Ware goes down swinging. That's strikeout number 2 for Webster as we head to the bottom of the 7th. And we're actually going to head on down to our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, who caught up with a fan.
Thanks, guys. We've seen Marcos Pujols struggle in these early games, but he breaks that streak tonight, getting on base in the bottom of that 5th inning, and then comes around to score the first run for the Harbor Hawks tonight. A big hitter he was for Dayton this past season. We're hopeful that he'll get going here tonight and change the momentum for the Harbor Hawks. Austin and Lincoln, back to you.
Thank you so much, Taylor. Great job as always. And we're going to head to the bottom of the 7th. We're going to take a little bit of a break here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Bottom half of the seventh inning stretch just concluded, along with the chicken dance, as we are ready to go here. That is Caleb Pendleton starting us off, followed by Mariano Ricciardi and Caden Rose, as well as a new pitcher on the mound. Now for the Commodores, that's Jackson Phipps. And Jackson coming to us from South Carolina, Columbia. The freshman at 6'5", 230 pounds. And he brings the pitch home, and that is a long drive towards left field, and that is going to be right to the left fielder, Sayer, for out number 1. Pendleton now at 0 for 3.
A little bit ahead of it. He did hit it on a line, but didn't get his full power behind it as he was out front. Quick out number 1 out of the bullpen.
And that was almost a really good hit there from Pendleton, but Sayer just having to move a couple of steps over to his right to make the grab there. And now with one away, Mariano Ricciardi digs back in with that fast bat waggle that we've seen a few times from him this season. But Ricciardi 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts so far. Both have been swinging strikeouts tonight. Was this one hit on down over to third? That's Malone throwing it over to first on the dig from Ware is in time. That is out number 2.
Great dig. That was what impressed me the most in that play, Ware extending, getting a good stretch, and then making the pick to save a runner on rather. Jeez.
And that definitely caught the eyes of the scouts, that beautiful stretch and dig there from Ware. Turning a bad throw into a good play. And with 2 away, Caden Rose is now at the plate. That first pitch coming at 94 miles an hour past the glove of French, as that brings the count to 1-0.
And 94 just sailed it a bit, but good velocity out of the bullpen. Throw back to the mound was at 46 miles per hour. Raider gun picking that up as well.
The 1-0, a big swing there from Rose. He can't connect. 1-1 the count. And he seemed like he was online. Might have been a little bit early on that one, but seemed like he was almost caught up to that pitch. Now, Caden Rose, who is playing in center field for the Harbor Hawks tonight. 2-1 now the count.
Right-hander warming up in the Harbor Hawks bullpen.
See who that is right here.
Looks
real
like
quick.
It's number 15, Daniel Lloyd.
You would be right.
Once before this season. And I got a couple other guys stretching too. Like, I don't know if they're just staying warm or getting ready to might possibly come in the game.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Nobody on. Pitch comes in, fouled off, and that breaks his bat as the hunk of it goes towards the third base foul line.
He didn't even hit that on the handle either. It was towards the end of the bat, I think.
Yeah,
but
it was.
It did shatter off part of the bat.
Yeah, because you see the shattered part starts in the middle of the barrel, and it goes all the way to the tip.
Get our new piece of lumber and try again.
Kind of wonder how many of these wooden bats do you think each of these players brings with them for a season like this?
It's a good question. We'll have to try to find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Check with him in batting practice. I wonder if that's his batter. Dominic Johnson had it ready for him. Might have been Dominic's. The new one.
I know that last summer, whenever I was in the Texas Collegiate League, they actually had a couple of custom-made bats for the players brought with them, as this one launched over in the gap between left and center field, and that is over the fence for a ground rule double for Caden Rose. And that was a well-hit ball there. Thought it was going to go out for a second, but the fence ended up just being a little too far.
Well, he's going to want to keep using that bat that he just used. First swing with it, and it's a double.
Yeah, after going 1 for 3 with his piece of lumber, that new one got him his biggest hit of the night with that ground rule double. And with a runner on second now, Kyle Ball, who is 0 for 2. He's reached base once with a walk in the first, but other than that has been fanned twice. So he watches that first one go by. Strike 1, finds the zone. Ball from the right-handed box. Count now at 0-2.
That slider's pretty effective coming in on the right-handers. See if he doubles up on it.
Ball from Stetson as he launches that one. That goes foul. Is that just a couple of feet from home plate, actually? Count stays at 0-2.
Came back with a fastball at 92. 0-2, ball's fighting off the tough ones.
And that's what you got to do with this 0-2 count. You got to protect the plate. Don't let anything close past you unless you are for sure that it's a ball. The 0-2. Breaking ball missing just a bit high. That's 78 miles an hour, bringing the count to 1-2. And he's been alternating off of the breaking ball and fastball here for a couple pitches now.
And that one looked good. Came back on him, but I guess a little bit high maybe, coming across the zone.
Yeah, another very close pitch there, just an inch or two off. As that one passed the glove of French, and that's going to allow Rose to extend over to third now, only 90 feet away from scoring another run for the Harbor Hawks with 2 away now. And we have another 2-2 count with 2 away.
That hat's getting some action tonight from you.
It is, yeah. 2-2. The last 2-2 count that it had was
shaking it.
The last 2-2 count that we had ended in a ground rule double. I was shaking the hat, so you know I got to keep doing it now.
There you go.
Another 2-2. Fouled off.
All right.
We'll stay at 2 balls and 2 strikes. I'm telling you, you'd be surprised at how big of a tradition, or not really tradition, but a superstition this is.
I've never heard of it until now.
Yeah, you'll see high schools all over the place doing this, all over the place. The 2-2. Breaking ball is shattered bad. That heads into the crowd as that one hit over to second. Throw on the first from Colden is in time. But meanwhile, one fan gets to go home with a hunk of a bat. My goodness. What a souvenir there as he heads up in the bleachers with it. We're going to head to the 8th. The Harbor Hawks down 8-2 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Now for the 8th inning of play, the last 2 frames coming to you from Judy, Walden, Scarifile Field at McKeon Park. Lincoln Revill alongside Austin DeCouta ready for these last 2 innings of play as the Commodores set to go back up to the plate. That's going to be Cody Colden, followed by Maui Ahuna and Michael Curiali. As this one launched over towards short, that's going to be picked up by Ball. Throw to first on the dig from Pujols is in time. What a play there from Ball. And Pujols is Colden and goes down to start the 8th.
Terrific work all around. Ball flashing the leather on the short hop, and Pujols giving him some help with the stretch and the pick. It's an important out number 1 for Daniel Lloyd, the new pitcher. Not too bad. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Yeah, definitely not. And Maui Ahuna, after that fast start, you got to worry about Ahuna now, who has reached base twice, 2 hits on the night. He's reached home once, currently sitting at 2 for 3 on the night. And this is actually, I think this is going to be, yeah, this is a new hitter coming in for Ahuna. It looks like 35. That's going to be Anthony Hall if it is. Anthony Hall from the University of Oregon, the junior.
Saw Hall on Friday when the Commodores were in town.
And I guess this is just to get Hall some playing time, but with the night that Ahuna's had, you kind of have to wonder why they ended up taking him out at this point in the game. This one hit back up the middle. That's going to be picked up by Ricciardi. Throw on the run. A tough play there, not in time, as that one gets there just a tad late. And we've seen a couple of plays like that from Ricciardi where he's had to throw it on the run. Would have been a beautiful play if it had been in time, but instead it gets there just a step late.
Yeah, he did all he could. I mean, gets to the ball, does a heck of a job, as you mentioned, throwing it on the run, but it's just hitting a spot where you're not going to make a play on that or get an out, really. And he does all he can to try to get an out, but it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's that perfect place where it's close enough to Ricciardi where he can get to it, but far enough at the same time to where he won't be able to get the play off in time. And Curiali at the plate now as he swings at that one and misses, brings the count to 0-1. Curiali has also reached home once tonight, currently at 1 for 3 on the night, hit into a fielder's choice and also struck out swinging as a single as well. And he actually ended up getting caught at second. Tried for a early steal there.
Lloyd ahead 0-2. See if he breaks off an off-speed pitch here. Good spot to do it.
0-2 the count. This one hit over towards second. Ricciardi throwing it over to second for 1. Over to first is not in time. Another one just a step late. As Curiali reaches on another fielder's choice. Meanwhile, that's Hall going down at second.
Great athletic play by Mariano Ricciardi to grab it on the hop, spin, throw, make the out. Just a tough turn, especially with Curiali running well down the line.
Daniel Lloyd. And now on the mound for the Harbor Hawks as he brings that first pitch home. And a little check swing there from Taylor, but he went across the plate as we saw here in the press box even. Brings the count to 0-1. And just a beautiful sight here from Judy, Walden, Scarifile Field. The sun has gone down. Seeing a beautiful sunset there. Throw down from second. Runner goes is not in time. As that throw from Pendleton was a little bit late there. And Curiali now at second.
Curiali was caught stealing earlier in the ball game. Gets some redemption there. A little bit of a delay as Pendleton didn't realize he was going. I think it was a delay steal, sort of.
Yeah, with a lefty hitter at that point, you kind of blocked his view there until he was about midway to second. Is that 0-2 pitch? He did go. Drop third strike. Throw from Pendleton over to first is in time for out number 3. And so despite a runner on, the Harbor Hawks find that third out, and we head to the bottom of the 8th. Harbor Hawks trailing 8-2 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Bottom half of the 8th inning. Commodores leading the Harbor Hawks by a score of 8-2. And we're just about ready to get underway here. But first, fans, for sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. You know, it seems every single time I read this that Cape and Islands Caterpillar always gets me fumbling a little bit. A little tongue twister there.
It is quite the tongue twister.
And here for the bottom of the 8th, we're going to have, there's going to be Jake Cunningham starting us off here. Cunningham at 0 for 3, 2 Ks, and a ground out to his name. As this looks like Jackson Phipps back in. Yes, it is.
And Cunningham looking to extend and continue his 3-game hitting streak. Would like to make it 4.
The 0-2 misses a little bit low. Sunday night baseball from underneath a Harbor Hawk colored sky. The sunset as the sun has left view. Dark blue sky. The clouds colored a orange starting out in left field, and it moves over to sort of a pinkish color as you get over into right field. Quite a beautiful view. As the count even at 2-2. Cunningham ready to go. Phipps from the windup. Time is called as the ball has sailed towards the field of play coming from the Harbor Hawk bullpen as we have some action there now. And that is trying to figure out who that person is. It looked like number 29 if I wasn't mistaken.
I believe it's Tristan Hott. He does not have a number on our roster here, but I believe that's who it is. I chatted with him before the game, and he was listed as one of the probable pitchers. We'll have to check when he inevitably makes his appearance.
You do have a point. He was listed as a pitcher for tonight's game. As Cunningham reaches base after drawing a walk there. And the first batter of the inning for the Harbor Hawks reaches base. And now Luke Mann steps up to the plate. 1 for 2 with a ground out and a single. He also reached on a walk. And you know, the Harbor Hawks in every inning since the third, starting in the 3rd inning, the Harbor Hawks have found a way to get at least one runner on base in every inning since the 3rd inning.
There you go.
That one lined for a base hit down towards center field, and that's going to bring Cunningham over to 3rd. Meanwhile, Mann going to stop at 1st, and that is a single for Luke Mann. And we have runners on the corners now for Mitch Hartigan.
Yeah, Luke Mann with his 2nd hit of the ball game, and he's reached base now 3 times, and he's really timing up the fastballs well tonight, earning himself more at-bats down the stretch, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course, and he's really turning into quite an efficient player and a playmaker at that. As he sits now with back-to-back singles. And Mitch Hartigan, who's 0 for 3, digs in. Mitch from FAU. It's along with Caleb Pendleton. A couple of Conference USA players for this Harbor Hawks team. As the 0-1, a foul tip, but caught by French. That brings the count now to 0-2 with nobody on and runners on the corners. Base hit here, scores run, brings the Harbor Hawks back to within 5. The 0-2. Lofted towards foul territory near the 3rd base line, as that's going to be Malone settling under it for out number 1. And Hartigan, 0 for 4 now, has gotten out every way you can with a ground out strikeout and now a fly out. The one away that brings Marcos Pujols to the plate, who's had quite the productive night tonight.
If he gets a pitch to hit here, I wouldn't be surprised to see this one go for a ride. I just have a feeling about this at bat. He's been putting the bat on the ball better tonight, and I think it might pay off here.
As he swings at that first pitch, that goes off the bat twice as foul is called.
Sparky Burns got that under control. Lets everybody know that that was a foul ball.
Good old Sparky.
Very vocal down the first base line at the umpire spot.
We've been hearing him all night long. He's making sure everybody in the field can hear him and has no doubt of what he's calling. An 0-1 pitch, a hefty swing there, fouled off. Foul tipped, actually, and French caught that. Brings the count to 0-2.
On 0-2, you've seen a lot of pitchers go with their off-speed pitch to Pujols. Try to take him out of the zone. Would not be surprised if that's where we go here.
We'll see if you're correct, Austin, as the 0-2 comes home. As that one is a good long drive towards left field and gone! A 3-run shot for Marcos Pujols. And Austin, you...
Not saying I called it.
My goodness. Not only is Pujols having himself a night, but you are too, my friend. A couple of great calls on your part. As the Harbor Hawks now are 3 runs away, trailing 8-5 here.
Pujols was swinging the bat well all night, Lincoln, and he just got a pitch that he could drive. He stays with it himself, takes it to his power side, which is right field, and it was an off-speed pitch that just hung a little bit, and he did everything that he intended to do with it, and that was take it yard.
Yeah, you called the off-speed with that. So you made 2 great predictions in one at-bat.
I didn't want to go out and say I thought he was going to hit a home run, but I mean, I said almost that without saying.
Yeah, you said, I have a good feeling about it if I remember correctly. It's oh my goodness, a diving play from Ware over at first for out number 2. And after that home run from Pujols, a little Sports Center play there from Ware over at first as he dove over the first base line to make that grab. And that was Dominic Johnson going down with that first pitch out. As Caleb Pendleton steps to the plate. That first pitch finds the zone. Strike 1, Pendleton. Now at 0 for 3. Strikeout, a flyout, and he found base on a fielder's choice. Ended up reaching home as well. One of the 5 runs for the Harbor Hawks. And Pujols, I have to say after that home run, really making a good run for player of the game for the Harbor Hawks, as he is the only batter so far that has reached home twice.
Yeah, he has busted out of that slump and in a loud way.
Yeah, we've been talking all season long that whenever he does finally get that first hit, they're going to keep on rolling, and they have kept rolling.
Absolutely.
After he went down with a ground out in the second, he's reached base 3 straight times. The 2-2, swing and a miss. As that will end the 8th inning. The Harbor Hawks gain 3 runs after a 3-run monster shot from Marcos Pujols, and we head to the last frame. Harbor Hawks down 8-5 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. final frame from Judy, Walden, Scarifile Field. Lincoln Revill alongside Austin DeCouta coming to you for this last inning between the Harbor Hawks and the Falmouth Commodores. Of course, this isn't the last time we'll see the Commodores this season, and definitely not the last time this week, as we have another battle, this time in Falmouth, in just 3 days' time, actually. We'll be going there on Wednesday night to play the Commodores in Falmouth after a home-and-home series against the Cotuit Kettleers starting tomorrow night. So again, we'll be heading to Cotuit tomorrow to battle them, the Kettleers, for Game 2 of the 2021 Patriot Cup, followed by Game 3 back here at Judy, Walden, Scarifile Field.
A little bit of an early start tomorrow, 5 p.m. first pitch in Cotuit.
Wow. The earliest we've had all season, after just last night, the latest start all season at 7 o'clock. This one roped over towards second. A good dig there by Ricciardi. Throw to first is in time. Out number one. Pujols having to dip down a little bit to make that grab, but out number one is a 4-3 putout for Jake DeCouta, for those of y'all keeping score at home. Now, Jace Borfin, who's sitting currently at 1 for 3. A pair of 4-3 putouts, both to Ricciardi. A walk in between those, and then a ground rule double back in the 7th. He launches that one foul just past the Harbor Hawk bullpen, the dugout, that is, excuse me. Count goes to 0-1. That 0-1 pitch drops down low, 1-1 the count. One swing and a miss as Borfin, in his last at bat, actually got his first hit of the season against the Harbor Hawks. He went 0 for 3 back on Friday, and now 1 for 3 tonight. The 1-2 coming from Tristan Hott misses just a bit up high. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 away. And Jonathan French will be on deck, and French, who has shown quite a heavy bat so far, currently at 2 for 4 on the night. As the 2-2 comes in, that's fouled off, hitting just in front of the Falmouth Bat Boys.
And Tristan Hott on the mound displays a fastball, slider, changeup repertoire. 3-pitch mix out of the Harbor Hawks bullpen.
Tiebreaker, 2-2. That one, both Pendleton and Borfin finding the ground there, as Pendleton tried to get in front of that ball, but that ended up rolling past him. And Borfin just trying to get out of the way before that hit him in the legs, as that ball came down low, which made the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Borfin sporting that maroon barreled bat, matching the Falmouth colors, as the 3-2 pitch comes in. Chopped over towards first, picked up by Pujols. He'll toss that one over to Hott, who steps on first for out number 2. And a little bit of a scary play there from Pujols, but he ends up making it and turns it into quite an impressive feat.
Looks like he just got caught up a little bit going back, stuck in the dirt for a second, but a good reaction by Tristan Hott to get over, peel up the line, and cover the bag for an important out number 2.
And with 2 away now, Jonathan French. Dangerous bat if we've ever seen one this season. Dig into that right-handed box. Hott from the windup. Taking a little hesitation there before coming home, as he misses that one high and away. Here's the count now to 1-0 with 2 away. French from Lilburn, Georgia, a graduate of Parkview High School, now the Clemson Tiger, as we've mentioned before tonight. One on one the count. Hot brings it home. High chopper over towards short, and that's going to be picked up by Man. Throw on the run is in time for out number 3. Bottom of the 9th coming up. The last chance for the Harbor Hawks here, trailing 8-5. We'll be back on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Bottom half of the 9th, it all comes down to this. Harbor Hawks trailing 8-5 with the 9, 1, and 2 hitters due up. That's Mariano Ricciardi, followed by Caden Rose and Kyle Ball.
Sounds like hits to me.
Let's hope so, as the Harbor Hawks looking for some last inning magic here, as they look for their 2nd win of the season and look to snap a 3-game losing streak that started back in Harwich a few days ago. And now on the mound for the Commodores is now Andrew Yancic, the senior from McKendree College out of Lebanon, Illinois.
Sporting the stirrups.
As you said, Austin, a interesting delivery there from the right-hander. He seems to be almost short-arming it from the mound.
Still can touch 90, but yeah, it might throw off some of the right-handed hitters. Comes in tight on him.
Ricciardi now with a 2-0 count, waggling his bat a little bit more aggressively than most batters would.
It's like the Harbor Hawk dugout's more alive than it has been after that Pujols home run.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Pujols having the night that he's had, definitely giving some optimism to the dugout right now. That 3-1 pitch finds his own for strike 1. Ricciardi still ahead in the count here, most likely a fastball coming here from Yancic. Watch, I'm going to be wrong about that one too.
You never know.
Here's the 3-1. A fastball outside, and Ricciardi reaches base for the first time tonight.
He got one there, fastball.
Yeah, woohoo. My first one of the season, and it was an obvious one.
That's exactly what Hyannis needed. Ricciardi does his job leading off the inning, gets on base any way possible. Now you're back to your top of the order with another guy swinging the bat well this week.
And Caden Rose, as he mentioned, swinging the bat well, especially tonight. He's 2 for 4 with a flyout, a ground out, a single, and a ground rule double. That long ground rule double that we saw in the 7th. As we've seen a hint of the power from him as he now faces a 1-0 count as well. And as we mentioned, Rose put the ball in play every time tonight. He's found his way down a couple of times as he takes a big hack there. Can't find the ball as that evens the count at 1-1.
Probably 100 fans or so sticking around to catch the remainder of this ball game.
Yeah, I'd say maybe a little bit more than 100 probably. Not a lot more, but maybe a little bit. Yeah, Matt, could you get on that count real quick for us real quick? Thank you, yeah.
Our producer Matt Noah going to get a check of the fans.
Good old Matthew Noah. Matthew, what is it, Lawrence? Matthew Lawrence Noah? Count now at 1-1 to Rose after French had a little trip on out to the mound for a little visit. And he's back in his spot behind the dish. 1-1 the count, runner on first. That's Ricciardi with a lead.
We got a rally cap sighting down below home plate.
Oh, there is a rally cap going around. We'll see how many more end up. Oh, a couple. Look at that. A little shark and then an inside out so far. Little shark fin. 1-2 now the count to Rose. Rose looking to extend his night. Currently 2 for 4 as he swings and misses. First base is occupied, so there will be no drop third strike as Rose goes down swinging. And that's his first time tonight not putting the ball in play and making this Falmouth defense work.
Yeah, great pitch there to get Rose to chase out of the zone. And with ball up at the dish, you're just looking to put the ball in play.
Ball has put the ball in play once tonight. He's reached on a walk, struck out twice, and then grounded out. And that first pitch to him, called strike. The first time that Yancek has started off an at-bat with a strike. And here's the 0-1 pitch. And I think Ball might have been a little surprised by how quickly that ball came out of the hand of Yancek. Like we said, the right-hander seems to be almost short-arming it. Something you don't see very often, but a handful of pitchers do it as that ball gets past French, and that enables Ricciardi over at first to extend over to second, and a little bit of a gutsy move there from Ricciardi, as that ball wasn't very far from French, but it was just far enough to where he could get that extra base. And with 2 balls and 1 strike the count. Ball now with an RBI chance if he could get the ball into the outfield and down. 2-1. Hit over towards second base. That's going to be picked up by Colden. Throw to first is in time, and that is out number 2. Meanwhile, Ricciardi moves on over to third. And Ball down with the 4-3 putout.
Hawks down to their final out now, Lincoln, and you're just looking to put the ball in play if you're Jake Cunningham. And interestingly enough, Cunningham was the last out of the game on Friday against the Commodores. Would like to change that up here.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of redemption chance here from Jake Cunningham. He's reached home once tonight, currently at 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts, a ground out, and he reached on a walk, and then after that walk ended up reaching home. Part of that 3-run home run from Marcos Pujols back in the 8th. The 1-0 misses just a bit outside. Count now 2 balls and no strikes to Cunningham. Cunningham, the business major from Charlotte, North Carolina, attends the University of Charlotte. Another Conference USA player on the Harbor Hawks as this one chopped over towards short. Ahuna, throw over to first, is in time as that is out number 3. And that ends the game. Falmouth takes win number 2 of the season against the Harbor Hawks as they win 8-5 and extend their record now to 3-2-1. Meanwhile, the Harbor Hawks moving to 1-5 in Austin. Another late rally by the Harbor Hawks falls short after that 3-run shot from Marcos Pujols.
Well, it's good to see them get some runs on the board tonight after a shutout in Chatham, and you have to be a little bit encouraged by the offense. 5 runs, 8 hits, so the bats are starting to come around. Let's see if we can put it together this week.
Yeah, definitely. Again, game tomorrow night, 1 of 2 in a row against the Cotuit Kettleers. That'll be right here on our YouTube page again tomorrow at 5 p.m. And that's going to do it here for us tonight. Be sure to check out the Harbor Hawks Hawk Talk postgame show on our YouTube page later on tonight for everybody involved in this. For our producer, Matt Noah Harrison, for our Sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, and for my partner, Austin DeCouta, I'm Lincoln Revill saying so long, have a good night, and God bless.